Weight loss solutions are not one size fits all. Hers makes it simpler to get started and stick with a weight loss plan, backed by expert-guided online care that puts your weight loss goals first. These include oral medication kits or compounded GLP-1 injections. Through Hers, pricing for oral medication kits start at just $69 a month for a 10-month plan when paid in full upfront. No hidden fees, no membership fees. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hers brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. Reach your weight loss goals with help through Hers. Get started at forhers.com/4u to access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss plans. That's forhers.com/4u, forhers.com/4u. Paid for by Hims and Hers Health. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com. Apply.
Hey guys, Brad Gilmore here. Want to give a big shout out to our title sponsor, Walker Texas Lawyer. If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident, whether that be a car, truck, motorcycle accident, or some kind of other issue, hit up Walker Texas Lawyer at 713-552-1117 or walkertexaslawyer.com.
Oh, Brad, what have you done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Matthew McConaughey.
Brad Gilmore.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how we doing?
I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Jessica Alba and Lizzie Mathis. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Kevin Costner joins us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Chris Tucker is in the building. Chris Tucker, good morning to you.
Hey, Brad. Good morning to you. How are you?
George Lopez joins us right now. George, how are you doing, sir?
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, joins us right now. Brian, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. What looking to talk, you me funny lad.
Megan Trainor.
Thank you so much, Brad. You're awesome.
Chloe Bailey joins us. I appreciate the time.
Appreciate you.
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat.
Brad Gilmore! Joining me again for the third time. I cannot believe I have that distinct honor of saying the legend and the icon living, Mr. Ernie Hudson, joins us again on the program. Ernie, welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you so much. And the legend, icon, all that, it's always fun to hear, but thank you. I'll just say thank you.
Yeah, I know. You might have a different way of receiving it, but it's meant with the most reverence as humanly possible because you've earned that status in cinematic history. You know what? I think that you hold a distinction of several Mount Rushmores, not just in cinematic history, but an all-time mustache as well. I've been trying to get one like yours for a long time.
Well, yours look great, man. I love it. Yeah. Every time I cut it off, I feel like I'm missing something. So somehow it's become a part of me and I guess the work as well.
Yeah, it really has. Before we get into some of the amazing projects that you're working on, last time I spoke to you, I think I mentioned one of my co-hosts on my radio shows, Booker T, the pro wrestler. And I think he told me that y'all finally got to meet one another.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Yeah, we finally met. I've been hearing so much about him over the years. I'm not a wrestling fan. I don't watch it, so I had no idea who he was. I was in Jamaica and people were just running up to me going, Booker T, Booker T. And, but we finally met. He's a great guy. Met him and his wife. And I didn't see how we looked like, but I think maybe something in a person's persona, people connect. But I was really happy to meet him and see he was, he's an impressive man. But like I said, I didn't see the look-alike thing, but it's okay.
But you know what? Maybe the essence, the spirit, the spirit is there.
Yeah.
You have so much going on right now. I want to start off with Boston Blue. Big network show, spinoff, obviously, of Blue Bloods. How are you feeling about this show? This is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I feel great. I've been a fan of Boston Blue, not Boston Blue, but Blue Bloods. In fact, I did an episode of Blue Bloods. Donnie Wahlberg, I think, I may be wrong, but I think the first acting job he had, we did a movie together. It was called Butter. Later, it was called Never Too Big. So we got a chance to work on that. I've known him for a number of years. To get a chance to work with him, I'm so happy for him to have this spinoff. But and even though it's a police procedural show, I play a Baptist minister of one of the oldest Black churches in the country, and it gives a different perspective from the community. You have the police, and the families entrenched in the police department, but also from where I'm coming from, it adds a different layer to it. So it's very exciting.
Well, when you talk about that special relationship or just that relationship in general between, the church and the community and also the policing of the community, what do you mean exactly about the relationship and the dynamics the show is going to explore?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the police shows, it shows, the difficulties of policing, trying to be fair, trying to, balancing, but, get justice. But also sometimes within the community, they see it from a whole different perspective. And especially when, police sometimes come down very, very hard without taking a lot of factors into consideration. And I think sometimes the community needs someone to champion for them because it's the letter of the law, but it's also, what's the other term? But it's that balancing and that perspective that sometimes need to be there. We judge sometimes very harshly. And I think communities, certainly communities that are considered disadvantaged, need someone to speak on their behalf, someone who be heard, because sometimes you feel like you're not, you're just a victim of the system. So it's nice to be able to bring some of that and to represent the people from a different side, because all of it should be, should be considered.
It all should be considered. Perspective is such a amazing thing if you're able just for a moment to put yourself in somebody else's shoes.
Yes.
It can change the entire world.
Exactly. And I think so that my character, he sort of represents that humanity that we all share in common. Sometimes it gets easy to kind of forget because we want to judge people. And when we do that, we sort of separate them. They're not like us. They deserve this. And it becomes, but when we realize that, we're all in this, we're all so much alike. But sometimes we need to be reminded of that because we want to sometimes just exclude a whole swath of the population and just say they all deserve this or whatever. And I think it just needs to be heard, And then I think if you can do that in television, I don't know what the end result will be, but at least it's expressed and it's out there. So.
Well, Marshall McLuhan said the medium is the message, and television is such a powerful medium to be able to convey something like that. I think that this is a great show to do so. And you are right. The segmentation of how we are as people is weird sometimes. Like, I'm from Texas, right? But I'm sitting here in Houston. Well, I might not like someone from Dallas, but we're still both from Texas. And then in Houston, it's like, are you on the north side of town or the south side of town?
Yeah,
what street do you live on? Is it odd number house or even number house? Like, it can keep getting down like that. And you're right, we're all the same.
Yeah, we're all the same, even within our families. It's like, but we're related, but he's not like us. He's different. I deserve more, and whatever. We get into that. And sometimes we just need to be reminded. We used to do in churches, but sometimes even within churches, it's those going to hell and those going to heaven, and there's a big separation. So, so I think it's but I think sometimes when we let go and we can actually see that reminds us, we see ourselves in someone. That's why I did a show before this show called Quantum Leap, and that's what I loved about that show because it gave a chance to sort of step into somebody else's world and see from that perspective. But it's and also on this Boston Blue, it's my daughter who's a DA, and my granddaughter who's a police captain, and another granddaughter who's a detective, and then my grandson is a rookie cop. So you get that sort of family, but they're all Jewish. My daughter married a Jewish man, and they're Jewish, and I'm of course Baptist, and then Donnie Wahlberg is Catholic. So you get a kind of interesting mix of perspectives just within that. So that's always fun too.
Yeah, yeah. The religious dichotomies within a family unit is interesting because myself, I'm a Christian, raised Christian in a Baptist church, no less. My wife was raised Muslim, and she's Arab, and knowing just the differences in those dynamics and those conversations can be interesting. Let me tell you. But let me ask you this: with that family dynamic on Boston Blue, how does it juxtapose to the Duncan family? On family business, because you're really on two different sides of the aisle there.
Yeah. The Duncan family, I mean, I think they're the ultimate American family. They see things a certain way. I don't necessarily agree with that perspective, but I get it, and I understand how you can get to that. But what I loved about a family business, and the reason I did the show, is there is a family dynamic. For me, families are fascinating. I didn't know my mom or dad, and so how families kind of connect together. Even within my own family, I have 4 sons from 2 different marriages, but how we connect and how we relate and how we hold it together and how we sort of separate, and it's really. But in family business, it's no matter what they're doing, the heart of it is the family, and of course, in the 6th season coming out, the family breaks apart and people go off in different ways, and it's not the way you planned it. I have great grandchildren, and so their lives are not what I imagined my great grandkids would be, but it is, and so you have to, come to peace with that. But family businesses, they're determined to have the American dream at whatever cost, and it's fun for me to not just to play it, but also to watch. Carl Weber has a series of books on the family business. He's a prolific writer, and the stuff he comes up with, I'm always fascinated with. I really enjoy the show, and I enjoy the cast on that. Very, very different, like you said, than Boston Blue, but definitely a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, just you're between that and Quantum Leap and Boston Blue, Family Business, Quantum Leap, and Boston Blue. I mean, you're really playing in a lot of different genres, and I guess, do you still feel like you want to push yourself as an actor to be able, because that's your job, right? Is to act,
right,
to inhabit these characters, but you live for the challenge a little bit.
Yeah, I think for me, and in fact, that is maybe the ultimate problem that I have at this stage of my life, because suddenly I wake up and people are reminding me that I'm turning 80 years old, and I go, well, yeah, but I still haven't. I mean, I still want to do. I'm an actor, and for me to find that role where I'm demanded to bring my best, to show up. I'm sorry that
you're fine.
I thought I put on Do Not Disturb, but I want to find that role. A lot of people ask me to do films, and they'll say, "Oh, but you're only working one day. We only need you to do this thing." I'm like, "Yeah, you don't understand. I want to work. I want to come to the set and just." Dig deep and find that. And of course, as you get older, then people keep sending you the grandpa roles. and so, but that's the challenge. And that's what I've looked for my entire career. Never quite. I did the Great White Hope on stage back 40 or so years ago. And that really demanded everything. And sometimes you find it on stage more so than in film, because in film you can do as many takes as you want. Nobody knows. On stage you have to show up and be in the moment. But that's kind of what I've been looking for in film and television, and never really found it. There's some roles that are better than others, but how Jamie Foxx when he did Ray, to me that must have taken everything to kind of be centered in that character for that time and bring that to screen. I still haven't found it, but the moments I have, I try to enjoy it as much as I can.
But isn't it like the chase kind of what makes it so sweet? Is like, I remember Matthew McConaughey when he accepted his Oscar, he said that his idol is always going to be himself 10 years from now, knowing that he'll never achieve it, but he's still always the chase to try to find it.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe that's why I work as much as I do. People say, well, you can take some. I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm maybe in this thing, if we can, find something as a little, yeah, I think it's always sort of looking, searching, stumbling upon something that opens doors, and it forces you to see, like I said, from a different perspective. There are other worlds. And without that, I don't know how I'd find that in something else, which is kind of, I don't have a lot of hobbies. I know sometimes people can take a hobby and sort of, dig into that. But I, all I know is work, so.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you go back to when you did The Great White Hope and being on stage, the difference in being on stage versus acting in film or television is not only is the one take, and not only is it different every time you do it because the rhythms are different, the reactions are different, but you get that instant audience feedback, which as an actor was probably the best thing to know, like, oh, it landed. You can hear the tears going down the face or the laughs or what have you.
Yeah, no. When you're in that moment, it's when you're there, when you, it's, and every night is different. You can't like plan it's going to be this way. Every night is a discovery. Like you said, the reaction maybe is slightly different than last night. So it requires, that's what I love about stage. Sometimes in acting in the moment and the people you're working with, but that requires so many people who contribute to your performance. I mean, the film, the cinematographer, all that stuff, the music that they lay in, that you have no idea when you're doing it. But there is something there that when you're engaged, when you've tapped into something. You also know when you're forcing it. You're trying to, but it's not there. And you hope. That's what being a professional for me means, that even if I can't feel the spirit, I have enough to make it the best that I got. You know what I mean? That it's okay.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's something that transcends and takes over, and it's a discovery for you as well. And you kind of go, yeah, that's a great feeling.
Well, it's like the wind, right? You can't see it, but you can feel it, and it's there.
Oh yeah. You know it, yeah. And it's a witness, and in the world witnesses it with you. When you're on stage and you can lock into that, like you say, I'm just, it's kind of all encompassing, and everyone shares that with you in a strange way. And that's a wonderful thing. That's why I act. I haven't found that for me with anything else that I've done. This, and maybe it's also that search that kind of keeps me in this acting part, as opposed to, I have a lot of friends that went into directing and writing and producing and doing other things. I like characters, discovering characters.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you, because you talk about, being a patriarch in, family business or in Boston Blue, and not having that father when you were younger. For me, in June, I just lost my father at 80 years of age. And I appreciate that. And to me, I'm thinking I'm 32 years of age right now, and if God bless that I live a long life, I'll have lived on this planet longer without a father than with a father. And I started thinking about raising a family and how am I going to navigate this? How did you, one, find out how to navigate your own family unit, and two, portray that on screen?
Yeah, it's we grow up, and back, I was born in the 40s. I was born in 45. Growing up in the 50s, I had my uncles who were examples of, all very, very different, but they all brought something to the table. And television, you learn a lot when you're watching movies, how you respond, for me, the single thing I wanted to do more than anything else was just to be a dad. I wanted to be a dad and show up in ways that nobody ever showed up for me. And so I got that chance at 19. And so I had my two sons. And then when that marriage ended, we were just kids, really, the two boys came with me. And so I was a single dad and trying to do, but I think a lot of it was probably from TV shows like Father Knows Best or whatever, being that image of what I thought this is the way. And if I do it this way, they're going to turn out this way and I'm going to get these results. And in reality, life doesn't work that way. And so, my kids, grew up with me. I had four sons together, but suddenly the two that I raised, that I put everything into Christmas and giving all the things that I never got, they don't celebrate Christmas. I'm like, what? I was, you got to go to school. And so 9:00 bedtime, no exceptions. My grandkids are staying up till 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, oh, wow. So.
What happened here?
Yeah. I was like, really? So, and now being a grandfather, I don't know. I didn't think that far ahead. I don't know quite how to navigate that because I'm still working. I'm not, a grandfather who retired. They live in different places, so they didn't grow up around me. And so it's difficult, to want to show up and be the best grandpa I can be. But on the other hand, I don't know what that looks like. I had an idea of what being a father would be, but this stage, I don't know, and grandkids say, Grandpa, I'm going to come and I'm going to spend the whole summer with you. And I'm like, I got to go to work. So.
Grandpa's still working. All right, yeah. Grandpa's still working. I still got a job to do. I can't hang out on summer, but wait, and you know what? I think in what you just said, I think I finally found the you and Booker T connection because just to give you some information on his biography, lost his father when he was 10 months old, his mother when he was 13, had a child at 19, and was a single dad at 22, and had to navigate his own entertainment career at that age.
Right.
Perhaps you'll embody a similar spirit in that regard.
Absolutely. I felt that when we met. I really felt the connection. It was so nice it's just nice to meet good people, but I definitely felt that common denominator there that we, that we have navigated this life. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful to meet him.
Absolutely. A couple more questions before I let you go. Thank you so much for your time, as always. I know that we've talked about stage, we've talked about the screen. Now you're also lending your voice to the next iteration of Toy Story, and voice acting is a whole nother challenge in its own right. You're not in the same room with the actors a lot of the time. You're in a booth by yourself, reading the same line over and over again. How do you approach a role like that, and what's the technique?
Yeah, I think when I meet a lot of young people say they want to be actors, or they're starting out in their careers. I knew when I discovered acting that I really had to be prepared. I didn't feel I had anything that would justify someone hiring me just because. I had to bring something to the table that maybe someone else wasn't bringing. And I also knew I had to prepare to do it all. So if it was stage, I wanted to be ready. If it was television, if it was film, which is not the same quite as television, if it's voiceover work, whatever that was, I felt I had to really. And so the early training and I just felt that no matter what, I just like to work. So if it's Toy Story or there's going to be another Ghostbuster animated show or whatever it is, and I've done quite a bit over the years, but acting, in front of the camera is that's basically what I do. But I also know that, the voiceover work, but there it's a little more difficult because you don't have, you're not in a set. You can step into a set and they can create that environment for you. So it's easy to slip into that universe and believe, you have all this stuff around you to work with. Whereas I don't know how the artists are going to really what it's going to really look like. And also, all they have is your voice. And so that expression, you're sort of inspiring them, how they create. So it's just really dependent on a lot of factors. That acting, at least I have my physical body, I have my voice, that much I can control. Well, up until now, AI might have something else to say about that. But so you have to trust, but you're with good people. And when you step into a franchise like Toy Story, I mean, these are the best of the best. And I'm just so honored to get a chance to work so many of the people I've worked with in different projects over the years. But I'm just thankful to get a chance to play in this area. And also with something like Toy Story, I know this will be something that the grandkids will see and the great grandkids will see. So it's nice to be a part of that.
Oh yeah, and it's definitely. I mean, Toy Story is the pinnacle, I think, of those type of films. It's the number one of all time, right?
Yeah. That and I'm always, over the years, I've been, why haven't they called me? I mean, I'm here. It's like I keep raising my hand, like I'm here. But it's nice to, out of the blue, they said, hey, would you want to do this thing? Combat Carl Weathers, I guess, did the original. They didn't tell me this. So I've been in the studio working without knowing that. And then the fans actually said, Carl did that. And I go, oh. And I realized maybe they didn't tell me because they wanted me to sort of do my own thing with it. And if I had known, Carl was a good friend, and I'm sure I would have probably deferred a lot to. So it was kind of nice to come in and just do my own thing. But it'll be interesting. It's always interesting to work.
Always interesting to work. Well, there's a film I've asked you about twice. You may or may not remember, but I always want to know if you've seen it yet because it was released a few years ago. It is 89. It is Collision Course with Jay Leno and Pat Morita. Have you gotten around to it yet, Ernie? I'm going to ask you.
No.
You see it.
No. So where'd you find it? I don't even know.
It's on YouTube. I'm going to send it. I'm going to send it to your publicist so that you can see the movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I haven't. Well, it was so weird because we started the movie and then we filmed about a week and a half, and then they fired the director and they started all over again. And then we started, and then there was a problem, and then we shut down for a minute, and we started back up again, and then we got into it, and then they said they ran out of money, and would I do the last part kind of without getting paid? I'm like, no. So well, I have no.
When you watch it, there's a great scene with you and Jay Leno where y'all are interrogating a guy and you trick a perpetrator and you trick him into thinking that you don't have a warrant, but you do have the warrant. It's actually the best part of the movie.
Really?
Scene? It's the best part of the movie.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I remember working with Pat and Jay, and it was a lot of fun. But I just remember being it was a scene downtown Detroit. So it was to take place in Detroit. And I looked around and I go, I'm the only black person here. This is weird. This is downtown Detroit.
This is Detroit. Yeah.
That's right. But no, I'd love to check it out. So yeah, send it to me.
I'll send it along. Mr. Hudson, it is such a treat to talk to you every time. You're full of so much wisdom. You've given us so much great content over these years that I've watched umpteenth amount of times. I'm excited about Boston Blue. I'm excited about Toy Story 5, family business, everything you got going on. It's just such a pleasure.
Thank you. Well, the pleasure is mine, man. I really appreciate you. So just the best of everything, man. I really appreciate you.
Thanks so much, Ernie.
All right. Take care.
All right. Thank you. I really appreciate you, sir.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Weight loss solutions are not one size fits all. Hers makes it simpler to get started and stick with a weight loss plan, backed by expert-guided online care that puts your weight loss goals first. These include oral medication kits or compounded GLP-1 injections. Through Hers, pricing for oral medication kits start at just $69 a month for a 10-month plan when paid in full up front. No hidden fees, no membership fees. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hers brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. Reach your weight loss goals with help through Hers. Get started at forhers.com/4u to access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss plans. That's forhers.com/4u, forhers.com/4u. Paid for by Hims and Hers Health. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com apply.